all set and ready to go on Sunday morning for the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. It is time to go racing at Silverstone Circuit once again. Who is going to be the master of this venue? Well, it is time to find out with our second race of the weekend. It is great to have your company wherever you might be watching from in the world. As you can see, I'm Omi up here in the commentary box, and we are all set for a brilliant run down towards turn number 1, Copse Corner. Of course, the GB3 Championship using the old start-finish straight. So it means you've got a fast run down towards T1, and then it is basically very much game on from there in towards Maggots and Beckett if the race lead is not sorted by then. Yesterday our winner was Deegan Fairclough. He'll lead us away from pole position. We're going to run you through the grid in a few moments time. But you have got drivers in behind who are chasing their first victory in the GB3 Championship. So it means that they're going to be hungrier than ever. But for Fairclough, finally some luck came his way. He had contact battling for the lead when it came to Brooklands last year. His car broke down earlier on this year while battling for the lead. And then this year, so far, in the second part of the year, it's kind of gone a little bit better. Race 1 and qualifying. Still 2 races to go. He has not had an event so far this season where he has not had a retirement. Let's hope that can change here today. But we're going to stop talking about Deegan Fairclough, because last thing we want to do is curse him when he is on an absolutely incredible run. The green flag is out. We're not racing yet. That's for the formation lap. So the drivers move away from the line, and we will get them making their way then down towards the Copse corner and the whole lap that comes at Silverstone. And while they do that, we're going to run you through the starting grid then. It's a sunny day. We've not had much on-track action yet, but we are going to be very much laying down the grip ahead of the GB4 race that's going to be coming our way. 2 races coming your way for GB3 across today. The reverse grid race on later on, which will see Robinson starting on pole. That is, of course, if there's no penalties applied post this race. So, Deegan Fairclough is all set and ready to try and maintain the advantage down towards Copse. He got a great launch yesterday, was under absolutely no pressure. Nikita Bedrin is someone who has had some changes overnight, and it's going to have a good opportunity to try and go on the attack, is all I'm going to say from there. So keep an eye out for Nikita Bedrin, and we'll see whether he can try and get together some form of a challenge. Martin Molnar, the consistent Martin Molnar on the podium yesterday. Rowan Campbell-Pilling also on the podium as well. Max Rem got a 3-place grid penalty hit into this race, unfortunately for him, due to the contact that he had yesterday with Lucas Flusha, and they were battling, of course, with Flynn Jacks. A shame for Lucas Flusha because he got hit out by Jin Nakamura earlier on in the year, race 1 of the season. When we started the GB3 Championship in 2026, he was hit out at the first corner, and that was quite a shame. Right, this is how they line up on the grid. Deegan Fairclough is next to Rowan Campbell-Pilling, and they share the front row. Lucas Flusha is in 3rd. Martin Molnar starts in 4th for Rodin Motorsport. 5th on the grid is going to be Patricio Gonzalez. Nikita Bedrin, keep an eye out for him. They've done some work overnight, and he starts in 6th. Abby Pulling is 7th. Max Rem is in 8th, hit with a 3-place grid penalty. Leon Wilson is 9th, and Jacob Micallef is in 10th. Rodrigo Gonzalez, contact in race 3 at Austria, is next to Edith Robinson, who will be on pole later on. Jax is 13th. Lee is in 14th for All Elite Motorsport row on the grid. Dan Vinci is 15th. Aurelia Nobles starts in 16th. And then it is Jack Taylor 17th, Peter starts in 18th position, and then we're going to be seeing Ricardo Baptista, who stopped yesterday. Fu is in 20th, and then 21st and last on the grid is Jason Pribble, and we have to quickly run you through the grid, as they're beginning to line up in position on the grid. But that's how they all line up, and that is how they will all start then ahead of this one. Nikita Bedrin, his points gap, well, he had an over 100 points gap coming into today. That over 100 points gap has basically been reduced to inside 100 points. Very much it's his championship to lose. Absolutely, there is no discussion about that. It is going to It is going to need something absolutely remarkable for the championship to go away from him in any way. But wilder things have happened in GB3. To be fair though, I would say that would be the most wildest thing if this championship is to get away from him. Well, it's a great opportunity of a podium for Bedrin. It's a great opportunity, as Piers Pryor was saying, even off a win. If he can get some of the pace that he's had earlier on in the season together, he's going to be in prime position. The work overnight, is it going to lead to something a bit more positive for him? It is time to find out then. Here we go. Fairclough on pole once again. Rowan Campbell pilling alongside. Green flag at the back. It is time to go racing once again. The lights go out, and we go racing for GB3 for race 2 of the weekend, and a great start for Deegan Fairclough once again, and he's got the lead through Cobb's Corner. Rowan Campbell Pilling slots in behind in second place, and then it's going to be Martin Molnar, who is ahead of Lucas Flusha, and they're going to be now doing battle through some of the most iconic corners in all of motor racing. Maggots, Beckett's, and then they'll get to the Chapel Curve, and soon on to the Hangar Straight, which presents a big overtaking opportunity. Side by side immediately are the teammates. Max Rem going wheel to wheel with Abby Pilling, and I think he's got ahead of Abby Pilling as well. Fairclough then down the Hangar Straight now, looks to try and break away. Interesting start to the contest. Does Rem defend from Pilling? Pilling trying to come back on the inside line. Is Pilling going to be late on the brakes? Can Leon Wilson try and have an attack? He said the pace ran out yesterday, but he's gonna try and finish ahead of Pilling today, because they were definitely doing battle. Here we go. Martin Molnar round the outside of Campbell Pilling. This is for second place in the contest, and Molnar can't quite get through. Does it open the door for Lucas Flusha? Flusha's gonna try and get by as well. Down towards Abbey Corner. Fairclough pulling away. Molnar is going to look to the side, and he's going to see Flusha there, and Flusha is going to try and claim P3, and he's done it. And now Martin Molnar will need to recompose and try and look for some manoeuvres. That's what can happen at times as Nikita Bedrin joins the party. That's up against his teammate, so that's going to be him attacking. Patricio Gonzalez at this stage, round the outside. Nikita Bedrin is going to gain a place, and he'll move up to P5. Up to P5 goes Nikita Bedrin. And now he's going to look to try and defend. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Car 20 versus car 21. And it's Bedrin with the place. Fairclough, though, already has an advantage, which sees him outside the DRS range. 23 minutes to go. Let's send it over the line once again. And Flusha now already is going to be looking to set his eyes on towards second. Disappointment for Molnar to drop off the podium places, but that sometimes can be the case. If you look for a move that possibly puts you offline, and then you can find yourself looking in those mirrors. One driver certainly looking in the mirrors. Nikita Bedrin at this stage, having to just check the rear view mirrors at this stage to see where the driver of Patricio Gonzalez is. And he's very much there with Patricio Gonzalez. In the rearview mirrors. Meanwhile, Abby Pilling looking to try and defend. DRS open, and Leon Wilson alongside and ahead. Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing backing out of it there Flynn Jacks. He was up against Mikalev, and they are definitely involved in some side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel scrapping at this stage. Down towards Vale we go for the second time in this race. So now, it's all about trying to utilise the pace. It's been a clean start so far. The drivers have been doing well at this stage. A few moves being attempted, a few moves being looked at further back. Flynn Jacks will find himself, he'll think that he's out of position when it comes to this race. Considering the pace that he had yesterday of holding on, he wished that he could have had a better qualifying for this race specifically, and he could find himself in a similar position. As now this is going to be a big opportunity incoming. So that's going to be Maxim Rem who has got ahead. So Maxim Rem has made an overtake, and he's got past Patricio Gonzalez. So Patricio Gonzalez now finds himself dropping down a place, and through goes the road in. Car number 1 has gained a place as we will complete another tour of the race. Lap 2 will be in the books, and will progress on to lap 3, where the gap now between the top 2 is 9/10 of a second. So definitely Campbell Pilling beginning to try and use the DRS now to close back in to Deegan Fairclough. He knows how important it is. Fairclough will be using this opportunity as well, because of the big gap that he had, to save his tyres a little bit. Remember, drivers can control the race if you are running in a good position of a over 5/10 range. If it gets closer than that, maybe then you could find yourself in a bit of trouble. Other than that, you are in a nice and decent position. Fairclough hoping that the luck continues to go his way. They continue scrapping away right now for the positions of second, third, fourth, fifth even. But it is very much a race where the drivers are beginning to settle in. Right, let's take a look at the elite cars who are together on the circuit at this stage. So we are about to see a lot of battling. So Lee is directly ahead of Robinson, who will be on pole position later on. Robinson dropped 2 places from where he started the contest. He started 12th. He's dropped down to 14th, so lost a couple of positions in those early moments. The XL Motorsport cars doing battle now. They may have the DRS of the leader, but certainly I can tell you, it does appear like that Flusha has some good pace, and he's of course chasing some redemption after being tagged round at the corner they're heading to now. If you are synced up with us, Brooklands hit out twice. Contact with Jin Nakamura earlier on in the year, race 1 of the season. Contact with Max Rem yesterday, while also battling with Flynn Jacks. Flynn Jacks had absolutely no parts to play in the contact. He backed out of it and did the sensible thing. And it meant that he was the driver who could continue running in that high position. Okay, this is beginning to get a lot more closer now between our top 3. So Campbell Pilling trying to utilise the pace. Fairclough had the great start, and it's meant that he survived the first about 6 minutes that we've had of this race. Now DRS is going to begin to bring Campbell Pilling in closer and bring Flusha in closer as well. We were getting some insight from Louis Sharp. If you've got some good pace as a leader, you absolutely have the chance to survive just because of the dirty air. Now, these cars are a lot more simpler compared to Formula 1, but there is still dirty air that they do produce. So, if you can run some good pace at the front, then you can survive. However, if the chasing car has some good pace, you will get chances to overtake equally. It's just one of those great circuits, Silverstone, where you can go wheel to wheel basically anywhere, and that's what these drivers are proving right now. That's Jack Taylor up against Dante Vinci. Dante Vinci looking to try and set up a manoeuvre, outside line, inside line, but no move being made just yet. So we're just getting some information as well that Fu has got a black and white flag for track limits as things stand. So you'll not want to do that again, or you're going to get a penalty. We don't want to go back to Austria with all of the penalties that we had in that race. Side by side once again. Lead to the inside line of Rodrigo Gonzalez. Gonzalez has passed. And now can Gonzalez try and fight back? Meanwhile, at the corner where he's had so much drama in the past, Lucas Flusha having a look as well. So it's a battle for second place at the moment between the XL Motorsport cars. As I said, they are with the leader. They are with the driver in the lead. But, you know, having DRS is one thing. If the gap is about 1/10 making our way onto every straight, there is a guarantee that Flusha and Campbell Pilling are going to battle regardless. Because Flusha is going to have a stronger toe. He's going to have a stronger effect off that slipstream. And that's going to keep him in play. And that is so important. As we will make our way through then. And down towards the straight. Deegan Fairclough responded on that previous lap. And he did so by setting the fastest lap of the race. Good driving there by Mr. Fairclough. Who made a brilliant overtake yesterday. I mean, he started on pole, he won the race. You think that it was an easy pole to win conversion? Absolutely not. He had the attention of Martin Molnar, quite literally in the early stages when Martin Molnar made the move. Fairclough had to respond with the overtake. He did respond with the overtake critically. Made an absolutely thrilling manoeuvre as well. Right, next black and white flag. Patricio Gonzalez, the driver who is running highly at this stage. Flusha is going to be looking to try and set something up. Here we go. On the power now. Gets his foot flat to the floor. It's going to be really, really close as they run down the straight. Flusha gaining all the time. He's not close enough unless it's a late send. You'll not want to make a late send. You'll not want to risk it. I can definitely assure you that it's getting super close between the leaders. So, at this point, we're heading to territory where, forget about Flusha trying to make a move on Campbell Pilling. It might be Campbell Pilling having an attack on Faircloth, and that leads to an overtake. Sometimes you have to sit back and wait for the chances to come to you. And after what went wrong yesterday, not the fault, of course, of Flusha. It was a mistake, which drivers do make mistakes. Max and Rem made that error yesterday, of course, got the consequence today with the starting grid, because now he finds himself quite a few positions down and finds himself stuck. So, Bedrin is right now starting in 5th. So, what we were telling you about earlier of how much of an effect would it have had, it doesn't appear like Bedrin. Maybe he might be conserving. He might want to save those tyres a little bit. But, you know, it doesn't appear like that Bedrin has got that pace, or the required pace at this stage. Flusha has had a few mistakes, I think, on this lap. He's definitely backed off, and it's actually falling more into the clutches now of Martin Molnar, as the top two are left, battling amongst themselves. The British driver in the lead. Campbell Pilling, another British driver, in second. Campbell Pilling chasing his first victory when it comes to the GB3 Championship. And you have different setups at play as well. So some cars might be quicker down the straight. Some cars might be gaining the advantage through the corners. So it very much can be a bit of a balance. Also being stuck behind with all the dirty air does not help as well. So sometimes even if you have a pace advantage, that sometimes can balance it out. So you need quite a decent pace advantage if you want to try and make a maneuver. But as Louis Sharp was saying in the pre-show, it is not impossible. It is not impossible to try and make the move. There are some other circuits where it is a lot more tricky. We've been to some of them, and we've seen races where we haven't had plenty of overtaking, and we've had to go into a bit of a podcast mode. Silverstone is not one of them. It can come alive at any moment. That's the great thing about Silverstone. Really is just one of those venues. As we make our way then down through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Fastest lap that time by Nikita Bedrin. So who knows, maybe he decided to turn it up. Maybe he heard my comments and was like, nope, we're going to turn it up now. It's time to go on the attack. Definitely a possibility, right? Okay, down the straight. Down the Hangar straight this is, with 13 minutes of the contest to go. No +1 lap in GB3. So once the clock hits 0, that will be the final tour. So as we've completed about half the race now, let's run you through our order. Faircloth leads, Campbell Pilling in second, half a second between those two. And then it's Flusha in third, Molnar's fourth, Bedrin in fifth. And then it is Rem, Gonzalez, Wilson, Jax and Pulling outside, just completing your top 10 Pulling. Not having the pace that she demonstrated earlier on in the campaign. 1.4 seconds. So it's been a bit of a disappointing drive for her, where she's been heading backwards and having to go on the defensive. McAuliffe 11th, and then it is Robinson in 12th, Lee 13th, Gonzalez 14th, and then Taylor, Vinci, Nobles, Pribble the American in 18th, Baptista, and then Fu, and your final driver is Peter. So he dropped positions off the line and it's actually come in, I think, to retire. So we didn't get to see it on our pictures, but as you can see, I think he's had a bit of a retirement out there on the circuit. So we'll continue to make our way through around this incredible racetrack, this incredible configuration of circuit. And we'll look to try and see when there's going to be some chances for some overtakes to be made. Driver's doing very, very well at this stage, though, I will tell you that. Okay. Towards the Stowe corner we go, where in recent weeks, of course, was the home of the Lando stand. And all of the loud cheers that comes with, of course. All of the loud cheers that being where the Lando stand comes with. just getting some live editing done for all of you on the screen. As a solo commentator, it's not the easiest. Also with a lip mic and being a hand down, so I can't just keep talking and do it all at the same time. I've not got track sounds to assist. Okay, well that's going to be good enough because some of the things bounce around a little bit, so you've got to sometimes fix them. Right, deep breath. Half a second. Campbell Pilling, Fairclough, and the lead is not done yet. It is not decided. Really isn't over till it's over. So far, Fairclough has had a drive yesterday where he was under pressure, survived until the end. Today, same story, but can he survive once again? I'm sure he'll want to win a race where he's got a comfortable advantage and is very much running hardly. We had a great race. His first victory in GB3 came in the final round, race 2 of the season last year at Monza. An incredible race that was, of thrilling overtakes, battling, side-by-side action, and it was really exciting to watch. Fastest lap by Deegan Fairclough, but even with that, the gap still remains at 0.4 of a second. This is one of the closest that Campbell Pilling has come yet to the race leader at the moment. And he's putting together a good drive as Campbell Pilling. He'll be desperate for a home victory. And he's going to be trying to search for it now. Fairclough was here yesterday, and he got the job done. Campbell Pilling had a podium yesterday, but he will want to convert, and he will want to take the checkered flag ahead of them all. If he is able to, it would be his first victory in the GB3 Championship partnered by the BRDC. He's had some great performances. He's been very consistent. At times, bar those retirements, a lot of them not his fault. So there has been a lot of things that have gone wrong for him. But he's never even been second so far this season. His best result has been third, and that came twice. So he's had 2 podiums prior. As I said, 1 yesterday. And it's going to be fascinating to see whether that will continue. Right, Nikita Bedrin's turned it up a little bit. He's chasing down Martin Molnar at this stage. So Molnar may just need to look in those mirrors just a little bit. And we'll see whether an attack comes in. The gap is 0.3 of a second between first and second as they go through Copse Corner. Now, this could be a big opportunity in a few moments' time for Campbell Pilling to try and capitalise. If he can stay close, through the left, through the right, through the fast turns. Remember, the dirty air will not be helping him. And then it's all about getting a good exit, planting the foot down, and hoping you've got some good traction if I can get my words out. Onto the straight we go. He's lost some time. As we learned yesterday, and as we saw yesterday by Deegan Fairclough, get close into Stowe, have a good exit, try and dive bomb into Vale. It can present itself as an opportunity, the Vale corner. Not on this lap, though, for Campbell Pilling. But he is loading the pressure. And any mistake now for Deegan Fairclough is going to be punished. We're heading to that territory, and Lucas Flusha is not too far away as well. He's about 1.1 seconds, and he is getting closer and closer to the top 2 that are scrapping ahead. Scrapping in the sense of, well, they're trying alternative racing lines. They're just pushing each other to the limit. Flusha possibly conserving his tyres a little bit, and he's going to have an attack now in these final minutes. Bedrin getting close to the apex. He's looking to really set this one up. This is the championship leader, chasing down the man who's second place in the points battle at this stage. So Molnar now is going to be reviewing those mirrors. Second for Molnar yesterday. 8th for Bedrin today. Yesterday as well, sorry. Today they're battling both to try and be ahead of the ball. Bedrin looking to try and extend that points gap. And this is incredible. Flusha, of course, is going to be fighting his way back up as well with today's point score that he's about to have. He currently sits third in the point standings. But after the 17th yesterday, due to the contact that there was, it meant that he dropped down. Okay, fight for the lead. 3-way battle. Battle for 4th as well between Molnar and Bedrin. And then Max Rem is there waiting for an opportunity as well. 6 minutes to go. Here we go then. Through Maggots Beckett's. And then the Chapel Curve, we've been mentioning it all weekend. It's something that can be forgotten about. That, you know, you've got the Chapel Curve, and you've got to correct the car, you've got to go over it, and then you get to the main overtaking opportunity. Then you get to go, you get to go straight, you get to keep your foot flat to the floor for a little while. And it's all about then just following your rival. This is some of the closest that Campbell Pilling's been, about 0.3 of a second. But it's all going to be about, can he be at that gap when we make our way onto the straights? That's what's going to bring himself an opportunity. Can he leave the straights, possibly being a 10th away? Maybe at most 0.2. With some of the fast turns here at Silverstone, you're gaining as well, just through some of the corners when you're keeping your foot down, the slipstream, naturally bringing yourself closer and closer. And now as we head through the first sector, this is one of the most confident I've seen so far, Campbell Pilling. And it's definitely some of the most confident I've seen Nikita Bedrin, who's going to look to try and send it down the inside, but no opportunity there. Right, here we go then. Nikita Bedrin is going to come on towards the Wellington Straight with a big opportunity. He's been sitting in behind for a while. Does Campbell Pilling have a chance at the front of the field? The answer will be no. We'll look further back. Does Bedrin send it? Still the answer remains no. He can't fight his way by. And Martin Molnar, though, his line's going to be compromised. He's going to be deep. He's going to be wide. And Bedrin may have to do one of those wild moves where he has to try and catch out his rival. Half a second between our front two. It'll be much more closer when we confirm the gap for 4th and 5th. 0.3. Rem's about 0.4 away, so also close in the mix. Can he now follow closely to Maggots and Beckett? Overtaking proving to be a bit more challenging today. Of course, that can sometimes be dependent on the wind direction that you've got. And the... how powerful the wind is. So what effect? How much are you gaining with that DRS? How powerful is the hold that someone's punching in the air for you? Of course, you can have a headwind, you can have a tailwind. So it's not proving to be as powerful today as when it came to yesterday. And it means that there's no chance for the move to come in just yet. It means you have to be really, really close and you have to try and settle your rival off the ideal racing line if you want to try and do something. Do the first few turns once again. I think Bedrin, he doesn't need these extra points. Molnar would love to continue eating into that 100 points gap. He's so safe, but you know, one thing you can't afford to do is lose championship momentum. And if Bedrin just keeps overtaking and finishes in 4th in this one, I think that will be the case. He's not really going to be losing much momentum. On your worst weekend of the season, finishing ahead of the driver who's 2nd place in the championship is not a bad thing at all. I thought he was going to have a run down the Wellington Straight, just not close enough. It's not proving as powerful today, the DRS rear wing. We'll see what it's like later on today when we hold race number 3. Race 3 can always be the exciting and can always be the chaotic one, can't it? That 3rd race of the weekend. Always is the one that we look forward to at the end of the weekend, with a reverse grid as well and some different drivers with opportunities to try and take a victory. For example, Robinson, who will lead us away later on. So he's going to have some great chances. DRS open. Campbell Pilling getting closer. The gap was about 0.4, making their way onto the straight. Will arrive at the corner. It's about the same. And then hit the brakes for Vale. Turn in. And then plant the throttle down. And eventually you'll arrive on the Hamilton Straight. Of course, start-finish straight for the British Grand Prix that was on a few weeks ago. For us, it's just an additional overtaking opportunity very much. And we, of course, use the old start-finish straight when you come over the line. And head straight down towards Copse as your first challenge. Of course, in the olden days, we were talking about it earlier on, when it came to yesterday's broadcast. It's used for so long, even by Formula 1, was the initial home, and then Formula 1 have switched over to the newer one that they've got. 1 minute to go on the clock. We're about to head on to the final lap of the race. If there's going to be a manoeuvre, it's going to have to be now. It's now or never, basically, for Campbell Pilling. It's now or never for Bedrin. As a racing driver, there might be one little thing in their brain that suggests, oh, well, it's fine, we can just sit back now, nothing's really going to happen. But then the racing driver spirit is just going to keep pushing till the end. Because if there is a chance, there is a chance, and you'll want to take that chance, especially when Rowan Campbell-Pilling's going for home victory here. Deegan Fairclough is trying to do the same. And they'll know that in the reverse grid race, they'll need a lot to go their way if they want to be in the fight for victory. There's not going to be as much of a chance in that race later on. Down towards the braking zone of Stowe we go. And for Fairclough, it's going to be ticking off the corners and making sure that he keeps it on the road. And if he does so, he should surely be home. And he has had so much bad luck, but I'm so happy that this weekend is the one, which is basically the kicking off. It's basically what he'll consider the start of his 2026 season. Down towards Abbey we go. The gap even 1 second now. That's how much he's been able to pull away. In the background, we'll see whether Molnar can stay ahead of Bedrin. Bedrin's going to get a great chance if he can stick with him through the opening turns of this. The final few turns for us, the opening turns of the Formula 1 layout. The Village, Aintree, the Loop, and then on towards the Wellington Straight, which is your final opportunity to make an overtake heading down towards Brooklands. There's going to be a good chance for Nikita Bedrin, but at the front of the field, our eyes will turn to Deegan Fairclough, who's about to put his name on the top step of the podium once again. And I'm so happy that this weekend, the luck is absolutely going his way, considering what type of campaign he's had. It's another home victory for Deegan Fairclough, who greets the checkered flag as the winner by 9/10 of a second. British 1-2, as Campbell Pilling claims another podium this season, and Lucas Flusha is going to get there as well. And he'll be happy with that after the contact that he had yesterday. Molnar hangs on up against Bedrin. And that is some great, great driving from those two drivers to entertain us all the way till the end. And now the rest of them come across the line. Your top 10 completed by Rem, Gonzalez, Wilson, Jax and Pulling. McAuliffe in 11th, Robinson 12th, Lee 13th, then Taylor, Vinci, Nobles, Pribble, and then Gonzalez, Baptista and Fu. Fairclough waving to the fans, which currently remain in the grandstands. In this early morning, they're going to be getting a GB4 race coming up next. Looking forward to that. But when it comes to GB3, it's Fairclough's name on the trophy once again. If there is a weekend, if he wants to choose a weekend where he wants all the luck in the world, probably Silverstone would be his pick. As they now head down Hamilton Straight and will be getting themselves into the support. Well, I was about to say support pit lane. This is not the F1 weekend. This is the main event. We're going to be getting into our own pit lane. We're going to be arriving to the pit lane basically. You've got a lot of other GT racing on as well. But yes, we are the headline event this weekend, the GB3 Championship. So these drivers are definitely, well, there's a lot of people. I was looking in a lot of the social media, etc. A lot of these drivers are brought in drivers. A lot of the Hungarian fans here for Molnar, a lot of the British fans here for drivers like Pulling, supporting Fairclough all the time as well. Because there's no F1, there's no a lot of these headline events. I think the NLS is on. You've got IMSA on. Other than that, there's not really much events in terms of headlines. So, especially if you're in the UK, it's very cheap to go to Silverstone and to watch all of this racing. So why would you not? There's nothing else to do on a weekend. How do you try and survive the F1 summer break? Well, try and take advantage. The first tip is try and take advantage of something that is happening for a very low price in your own country. And that's this. Basically, quite literally, is this. You've got to very much keep an eye on things. Of course, next week, there's not really going to be anything on, really. Of course, there'll be some things, but not many things. And then the week after, the Formula E London finale. The week after that, it's Formula 1 back at the Dutch Grand Prix. And they'll be having a sprint weekend there. Of course, support series-wise, the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup will be having a double header. And F1 Academy will also be racing there as well. But for now, it's celebrations for Mr. Fairclough into the hands of team once again. And he is absolutely delighted with that. A deserving performance and a deserving victory once again for Deegan. But he's had very much the control of the weekend so far, quite literally. Qualifying, the late lap that he did, it was meant to be Rowan Campbell-Pilling on pole, and he would have had the advantage. I would have been leading, but it was a late lap for Fairclough in qualifying too. And because he took it, very much has given him, and basically, yeah, given him this win. So that's how important qualifying can be. And it was great to see the live timings and see the results of that on Saturday morning. We went racing, of course, in the afternoon yesterday. This has been race 2. And we'll go racing in the afternoon once again for race 3 in about 4 hours' time. In about 4 hours' time, we'll go racing once again. So when it comes to waiting, there is not long to wait. An absolutely superb performance. Okay, well that's going to bring our coverage to a close. You can catch the post-show over on the official MSV YouTube channel with Chris McCarthy, Piers Pryor, and your highlights will be talked to you through by Lewis McGlade as well. So go over to the official MSV channel for that. But from commentary here in the GB3 Championship, race 2, it's been an interesting one. Race 3, it's the reverse grid. What's going to happen there? We could have some new winners. I think that's a guarantee. We'll see you later on. Goodbye.